Hi Stampers, Judi Anderson with JudiStamps.com here with another technique video. Have you ever wanted to give your image a two-tone shadow effect that adds depth and dimension to your card without using more cardstock? Well, today's technique does just that. It's called shadow stamping with a brush marker. Now to do this, you're going to need a light colored ink pad, a darker colored brush marker, and a solid image stamp. Let's get started. For this week's technique, I'm going to be using the Birthday Surprise stamp set. I'm going to use the image, the Happy Birthday image from that. Our lighter color ink is the Strawberry Slush ink pad, one of my favorite ink colors. And we are going to be using the Cherry Cobbler brush marker to add depth and dimension. Okay, I've got a piece of Whisper White cardstock here, which I've already cut out with our Apothecary label framelits. And I'm going to ink up my stamp. Now tap, 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 especially with our foam pads. You don't have to push hard. I find it better, you get better coverage if you tap, tap, tap. Okay, now we're just going to turn that over, open up our brush marker. And I'm going to decide that on the left side of the stamp is where I'm going to want the depth. So I'm just going to take my brush marker and run it along all the edges on the left side. So you're kind of adding a little bit of depth. If you remember, maybe when you were younger, you would do letters. Like in 6th grade, I remember this. We were all into lettering and doing bubble letters and all different kinds of things and coloring them different ways. So this technique reminds me of that. I hope you actually got to experience some of that fun. Even the boys did it. I just remember that. I thought it was kind of strange, but boys loved it, doing it just as well as the girls, and it was a good creative outlet. Now, as you can tell, I'm just going along the left edge of all my letters. And I'm not worrying about if the ink is drying when I inked up from the ink pad, because we're going to huff to re-moisten that ink up. This isn't going to be exact. Just going to add some dimension. Okay, I'm going to huff, so excuse me. Okay, I'm going to center my image. Look at a little cool down here in my stamp studio today because my breath actually showed up on the stamping block. Okay, just give it a nice, good, even pressure and lift up. Look at that. See how that just adds dimension to that? Now I have a couple samples here that I wanted to show you. I'm doing the same technique with some flowers, and here is a picture of the flower before I added the dimension in the marker, and here it is after. As I'm looking into the monitor of my camera, I noticed that you really can't tell a whole lot of difference between the two. It's so noticeable in real life, but the camera just is not picking up the colors. So I wanted to show you a couple other samples. I used the Serene Silhouettes and I stamped it here, just a single color, and see how it looks there. And then here it is using the brush marker technique to add dimension. Look at the difference in the two images. Now this image is beautiful, but look how this one just pops off the paper here. Okay, that's our technique for the day, and I'm anxious to hear what you guys think of this technique and what you do with it. I would love to hear about it, and I would love if you would leave me a comment below. I appreciate you stopping by today, and sure to appreciate you subscribing to JudiStamps.com, and until we meet again, happy stampin'!